Have you checked the children? Use your little match sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Marcia Parker.
And Jaime Fuego here, returning for another presumed trolling request from none other than our friend Media Kraken, and we are talking about Sharknado 3. Oh, hell no!
Oh, hell no.
That's right. So, produced the following year after 2, the next one, as they called it. You've got Finn returning, as well as Tara Reid, and lots of other people, including Sugar Ray from the previous one.
Yep.
This was...
Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, showing up Frankie Muniz at one particular point, and a couple other returning characters, and new characters, including a former Baywatch running on the...
David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, but, man, it was still silly. It was still fun. I
Was
don't
your
know.
favorite? It was your favorite, wasn't it?
My absolute favorite, yeah, for sure. Although I haven't watched this series extensively. I actually hadn't even seen the original Sharknado until we had a request for it a while back. I want to say it was in the last year or so. But I just thought they looked so campy and so silly. Despite the fact that I do love that sort of stuff, I was just averse to it, and I've never been too big on the Sci-Fi Channel originals, so I'd never checked this one out until we were kind of forced to. And oh hell no, I'd be like, oh hell I, like, and I, fine, and it's nice to see returning characters. The fact that Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, is playing the president of the United States in this movie. When I saw that, I was like, what reality are these people living in? It must be absolutely awful if that is the case. But, I did still enjoy it for all of its... They keep upping the camp factor the ridiculousness of this series. And they go to space long before the Fast franchise did. So, I mean, props to them for jumping the proverbial shark.
Oh my God, they jumped
I did it! But they did, man.
That was the second one.
Yes, I know, and the character actually even says in the second movie.
It did.
it
did. Frogger.
Was it Mark McGrath?
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, it was Sugar Ray who said it.
Because they were like, don't even say it. And he goes,
yeah,
jump the shark.
Just jump the shark. Well,
sorry.
Yeah.
You digress. Go ahead. Overall thoughts.
Overall thoughts. Continued silliness, still cranking it up even further. Cecil, who has seen these and doesn't particularly love them, he mentioned in the pre-production when we were about to film this, he's just like, I think that was the last one that I really liked, and I did like this. I was very amused by the bringing on of Hasselhoff. Don't hassle the Hoff, mind you, everybody, as Finn's father. I thought that was brilliant casting and very amusing, and just shows more so and more so that everybody in this is in on the joke, and they are very, very well aware of the type of content that they are trying to produce. However, the stuff at the amusement park, we'll get into it. It still annoys me at times, even though it amuses me at others. It is just one of those mixed bags of completely disposable fun, about as quick as a shark would chew on some chum. So there you go.
Right. I had fun with it. I mean, it definitely set a new bar of Sharknado bars. I don't
know if that's a high or a low, though.
This franchise is an anomaly. Like, it definitely is. It's one of those, like, didn't start off as, like, super serious as, like, a Tremors, and then ended up into this category. It just was always there.
Yeah.
So it is really fun. I do love the fact that they ended up going into space and there were space sharks. That's amazing. The sci-fi part of me just loved it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, space sharks. You already said space. So
I did.
I had a lot of fun. I wouldn't. I don't know. I think the original I really loved, and I would say this one would come before the second one for sure.
Okay.
Just because there's some sci-fi in it. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm a sci-fi horror fan. Like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna
too.
And David Hasselhoff and Frankie Muniz. And they brought back Nova, which was awesome.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
So, but there was one thing that because I didn't go back and I didn't actually do my research. I'm sorry. But I just, like, they kept talking about how the daughter kept changing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the daughter changed her hair color. Mm-hmm. Was it a different person? Is that why they kept, like, pointing it out? Because she was a different actress? Or
maybe that would have made sense because of the fact that, because she spends all the time, as we're obviously segueing in the story, she spends all that time at the amusement park, if I remember correctly, right? They're in Orlando, and we've got all kinds of things, the product placement is becoming far more apparent because the franchise is becoming more and more prominent.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell you if it's the same actress or
not.
not.
Well, I couldn't remember, and maybe I should have done my research, but it was just like every time they're like, "Oh, and you dyed your hair," and they're making it like a point. Like, I mean, obviously she wasn't blonde like she was in the first one.
Yeah.
But
that's
like
how
they're
they
making it a
explain this
point
sort of stuff
to
away,
right, like
recast.
that she's changed and she's different. So anyway, I don't know. I just thought maybe you knew.
Yeah. Offhand, no, because I watched these earlier in the week than you. I think I watched them, almost a week ago now. So.
I watched these like back to back, so that says a lot.
I did
that
too.
I still don't even remember.
Although
like if it was the same person.
Although you watched one, and I did not watch one upon I just watched.
Rewatch?
I just watched 2 and 3.
Oh, see, I was like, I'm gonna start from the beginning, and I'm just gonna have fun with it. And I definitely had fun. And this one, my overall thoughts was I had a good time. I don't even think I watched this one before. I definitely watched the first and the second one before this rewatch. So it was a lot of fun for me. And I had no idea where it was going to end up. And so when it ended the way it ended, I was like, this is amazing. It
was bonkers. It was very much of what the franchise is apparently becoming at this point as we go into the story thoughts.
Yeah, and I have to watch the rest of them. You're going to watch the rest of them too?
Yes, I have to, which is where you guys should request them so we can put them here on the Patreon and you can continue with the laughter and everything else.
Yeah, we have to watch it. We have to finish it. Anyways, so let's talk about the story though.
Yeah. So the story. So at this point, Finn is apparently being consulted by. So first he was West Coast, then East Coast, and now he is at like the legitimate like DC and federal level of everything.
He's visiting the president, getting a medal. Well, of sorts.
Kind of. and once again, Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, a franchise that I really can't stand, and but I know he is the creator of that Shark Tank show.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, that's funny.
It's like a pitch thing where you have a company that you're trying to get his funding for.
I know what that is.
Yeah. So I've never watched it, but from what I understand, he was the multi-billion-dollar whatever creator of it. So for him being in this, it's amusing, but the fact that it's not just a cameo, it's full-on acting, running around and shooting sharks in the White House. White House gets destroyed by a new Sharknado that has come, and so this is where you're starting to realize, you're like, is this like an apocalyptic weather phenomenon that is going to start happening not just all over the United States, but over the entire world?
Ladies and
gentlemen. Indeed. And yet, at the same time, you've got his... that's right. Mark McGrath is at the ceremony.
He's there right with him.
He's there. Yeah. Which is amusing. But then the remainder of it takes place in Orlando, and as Finn is trying to get down there to his family who are vacationing at Universal Studios, right?
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And so Tara Reid and her mother, and I am trying so hard to remember the iconic actress who plays her mother, who is there. Goodness Lord, because I have seen her in so many different things, and it is totally eluding me. Hit me in the comments, Media Kraken. You're going to hate me. I could consult the phone, and I just might once Marcia starts talking. But, so Finn is trying to get down there because this is becoming such a phenomenon, and he somehow gains the help of his former... she was his bartender or his like cocktail waitress.
It was
back
the bartender.
Back in LA.
Yeah, it was the bartender.
She was the bartender. Yeah. I couldn't remember Nova. Yeah. And also Mr. You're Not the Boss of Me Now, Frankie Muniz, who He doesn't even really act anymore, from what I understand. He has shifted into more so a career in real estate, but he is
Really?
there. Yeah, L.A. real estate. That's his thing. Flipping homes over there. Yeah, is what he does, because he doesn't really act anymore. But he acts in this, and it's him and Nova and Finn in a Winnebago trying their damnedest as they are allegedly driving from D.C. down to Orlando when they're very obviously in California. I mean, if you look at the terrain, you're like, dude, they're not driving through the South. This is so silly, and including some of the instances that they have of dangerous, perilous encounters. But yet, at the same time, Finn's daughter and Tara Reid and the rest of the family are having their stuff going on. And then it just gets wackier, from meeting Finn's father to space to everything else that we have briefly touched on without going into super spoilers here. But this did crank it up to 11 as far as the insanity. And you were a fan?
I was a fan. I thought it was super fun. Like, it was definitely like hold my beer. You know?
Very much so.
It
and
definitely
now
was like hold my beer. I got more.
If I do not get to, please continue. I have to know the name of this actress.
Yeah, but with the story, I thought it was fun because
Oh, like, Derek! Oh,
there it goes.
Yes. Sorry, it just took a single second for me to remember.
See, anyway. I didn't know who she was.
Yeah. She was an iconic.
She was important. But...
That in the yellow swimsuit and kind of the dreads, almost like running on the beach, and it was either 60s or 70s. And I'm trying to remember. I want to say 70s maybe. In any event, continue and don't let me cut you off any further.
Overall thoughts on the story, I mean, it was ridiculous, but I do love the fact that Finn made his way to DC and got, like, the golden chainsaw.
Yeah,
and
the award
then
was so
had
funny.
to, like, be like,
He had to use
and then
it.
there's he used it, of course. It's amazing. I love that Tara Reid she was pregnant, okay? We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, I didn't even mention that.
Yeah, she was pregnant, so they're gonna have another baby.
Because they've worked out their issues.
She's still missing a hand, but it's awesome because like she just like kind of like has a blade all ready to go. Like she takes off her big hand, and then it's a blade chainsaw waiting to like kill some sharks. So that's pretty awesome.
Lots of Evil Dead 2 inspiration, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, and that goes back to the last film too.
Yep.
Yeah, but.
Nova was good to see again. I love that they brought him back, and he's like, oh, I didn't even know you were alive. She's like, you could have found me if you wanted me to, kind of drama, which was kind of funny because it's like, no, we all thought you were dead.
Yeah.
But it all goes back to the theme park. It had some good times. A lot of people. I love how like anybody could die every second. I love that. I just love how like nobody is safe, and like how like her best friend gets like eaten, and like everybody around her, and I don't know, it's a lot of fun. I have a great love of the fact that like anytime anybody could die, even though they're like the main characters. I very much love that about this series. And I do like the fact that they went into space, just because it is crazy, and the way it ends was like so bonkers, but it's story-wise, it flowed like somehow, even though it was like all the way to 11, even though they like totally hold my beer, let me do this, like it still like floated in a way where it's just like, I can't believe this is happening right now, but it's happening and I love it. So I enjoyed it immensely.
I think that's what enjoyable movies do. I was about to say that's what good movies do, and I'm like, I can't classify this as a good movie.
This is not a good movie. This isn't like
it's enjoyable.
Give them
it's
an
fun.
Oscar kind of movie. This
no
is
way.
Like
it's not Shakespearean theater, as I often say.
This is drive-in theater at its best, kind of entertainment.
Yes, very much midnight and, just grindhouse sort of schlockiness, for the modern era, which we find these things on the Sci-Fi Channel. We've touched on acting a lot, but just to pivot back to it, I actually did think Finn was a little less cagey than in the previous film, because in the second film he was more gruff and more cagey and stuff, and this one he was a little bit more, especially with the prestige that he was being awarded, and early in the film, and then also getting to see Nova again, and so a familiar face. and just the virtuousness of trying to get to the family, which has been the case, I mean, to be fair, in all three of the films, trying to get back to his house that Reed had taken over, in the first film, trying to get to, them at the ballpark and stuff in the second film, and then in this one, trying to just get a far further distance, because as opposed to the first two where he's going through individual cities, he was trying to go across the country, essentially, to get to them. So that was cool, and Tara Reid is Tara Reid, as Marcia has said a lot. Hasselhoff, though, man, he has really started to make a just late career resurgence by being in stuff like this.
Just by being David Hasselhoff.
Exactly. And just hamming it up and being such an arrogant goof. The scene in the diner with, the first meetup is really funny. And just the energy, the chemistry, it works really well. I thought that was perfect casting. Yeah. Personally, for the spirit of this stupid series,
definitely,
to have Hoff in this, and Frankie Moon is what happens with him on the top of the Winnebago was one of my most amusing scenes of the entire film, and it actually said a lot about his character too. The perseverance aspect, and so I enjoyed that as well. So yeah, the stuff with his daughter and meeting the guys at the theme park, and that stuff's all stupid. But aside from that, because you have to appeal to the younger and the older in something like this, but as a whole, acting, once again, it knows what it's trying to be, and you could tell everybody is kind of in on the joke.
Yeah.
Even if they're not the best actors, I feel like moderately talented actors can do something like this better than having a moderately talented actor try to do some really heavy, dramatic stuff, and they fall flat on their face.
Yeah. Yeah, like you can definitely tell the difference between like this is campy because and it wasn't supposed to be, and this is campy and it's supposed to be, and it definitely, which
is what the latter. That's what Sharknado. Hell no is.
Yeah, they definitely own it, which makes it a lot of fun.
Now, as far as effects and stuff, I mean, when they went to space, it wasn't quite as bad as I was expecting.
It could have been worse.
Yeah, it could always be worse. I mean,
could always be worse.
Yeah. Could always be worse. The Sci-Fi Channel and what they just have the capability to produce is what it is, man. They work very well with what they have. I still, dare I say, even though they got more star power in 2 and 3, I feel like the effects were the best in the first film, but that's because of the fact that they weren't trying to get cameos from these bigger names and stuff like that. So I do still kind of feel like the effects suffered in the previous one, which we talked about, and in this one. But I mean,
it still didn't feel like about the sharks.
No,
it did
not as much.
Feel like the sharks.
Yeah, it's more so about the humanistic aspect and the relations, and just trying to get to your loved ones and save them, and less of a focus on although the disaster aspect is being hinted at, which I think as we go into some of these later installments, without spoiling things, they have to eventually embrace more so making it more of a global thing. But
I agree.
Yeah, but that's about all that I have. Any final thoughts, Marcia?
No, I mean, if you have not gotten into the Sharknado series, like, I don't know what you're waiting for. Just do it. It's a lot of fun. I like to do it as a marathon on the weekend.
Because they're relatively short. They're like 80, 90 minutes.
Between 80 to 90 minutes long. My kids watched it along. I don't know. Alex seemed a little concerned a couple times. He's like, and I was like, you might not want to see this. This is a little graphic, but it's all fun.
They're all kind of on a PG-13 sort of level, being TV. And
he's a little bit more sensitive than he used to be because he's a little bit more aware, but
the cognizance setting in and just being aware.
Dang it.
But they're all on Amazon Prime.
And
all every installment. Every installment.
You might as well do it. If it's free, just watch all of them. Have fun. Get it while it's free, because if you have Amazon Prime, I mean, then it's free. Yeah. But you might as well enjoy it, because I can't wait to watch the last few. So I might do that as another stint. Is just do another marathon of 4 through 6. It'll be a lot of fun.
Nice. So that's going to be the end of the proceedings today, everybody. Once again, thanks so very much. Grande gracias to Media Kraken. throw some more of these at us, and we are ready for them, and actually ready to enjoy and find some
Give
amusement.
us something harder to watch.
Ooh, dare you.
Or better.
Bring it on. And yes, if you would like to become a patron yourself, we have all of the information in the description, links below, commentaries you can suggest. We also do boogie boxes, or just if you want access to all of these exclusive reviews, they are right here on the patron feed. So yes, like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. You know what to do. But I've been Jaime and Fuego.
Marcia Parker.
And until next time, remember, Fright fans,
Stay
stay scared.